Oh, my actual eyesight is there. The high drive. Deep center. Go, go, go. We're out of here. We're out of here. Say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks. Welcome to Folk Field, right here in Cherry Hill. Sitting behind us is the Cherry Hill Town Administrative Offices, and in front of us is the wonderful field where we'll be playing our second our second Tri-County Baseball game of the week, as we've had a good plethora of games in the past year with the Tri-County Baseball League, and with us continuing our partnership with them this year, we now go into week 2 of year 2 with the wonderful Angelo Marciano there on the center of your screen. His son, Bones Marciano, the manager of the CHBR team, to his right, with a new color scheme for the third base club. They were all black and white, all monochrome last year, but they've decided to add some vibrancy this year with those red caps and bright blue jerseys, while the classic and old school Roughriders are still remaining the same in their black and orange. But of course, they don't need a change to be interesting. The reigning champions from last year having a new manager at the helm, manager Swerdloff, who took over after Thomas Gasse left the organization to become the bullpen catcher for the Reading Fightin' Phils this past April. But of course, a big hodgepodge of South Jersey faithfuls coming into this game with CHBR 3-1. One of the few teams in the Tri-County League to have 3 wins this year, the other ones being Cinnaminson, Cherry Hill, Pittman, and Washington Township. And we've seen a lot of differences and variations between teams from this year and last, but Roughriders have only played 2 games this year, as in this Tri-County Central Clash, Roughriders are going to look to take sole possession of second place in the early campaign for the Central Division, as CHBR is going to look to hang on to their sole possession of first place. CHBR this year, with that that 3-1 start, they got their first 2 wins over South Jersey Crew 7-4 and Camden 6-1. They lost in extras to the Grizzlies 3-1 and then beat Burlington Township 8-6. So the only team they've beaten handily was Camden back on Wednesday the 29th, but they played on the 30th. They had a good break, and now they're playing back-to-back days. As the Roughriders, like we said, they've only played 2 games. They easily took care of the South Jersey Crew, led by Alec Justice, won that game 13-0, and then lost on a walk-off to Camden in extra innings back on last night on the 3rd by a score of 4-3 in 8 innings. So the umpires, Swerdloff and Coach Marciano, are going to go over ground rules, as the starting pitcher for the Roughriders tonight is going to be none other than Jack Murphy, the Rutgers-Camden right-hander out of Paul Six, who's going to be getting the start here. And for Bones Marciano, for the CHBR club, they're going to put the Immaculata right-hander on the hill tonight, Matt Long, number 5. So it should be a good matchup, especially in a pitcher-friendly park with the wind blowing out. It'll create kind of a question mark for what's going to happen with the ball tonight. Are the pitchers going to keep it in the yard, or is the ball going to fly out? We don't know. I mean, the dimensions certainly favor the pitcher, but with the wind blowing out, especially on this hot June day, the bats certainly could be red hot. We'll give you starting lineups, more information, and first pitch right after this, as we've got ground rules coming up here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Matt Long getting his first career Tri-County start here as the Immaculata Mighty Max representative gets it started for CHBR. Let's take a look at Swerdloff's starting lineup for the Roughriders, brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement as we get ready to get started tonight. The Rutgers-Camden second baseman Danny Vasquez leads us off with the manager Swerdloff in the DH position. Cole McKenna of West Deptford takes the third base spot. Jack Murphy at first base, batting fourth, or excuse me, that would be Ian Murphy at first base. As Andrew Brown behind the dish, and the first pitch of the game is into center field for a base hit. How about that for a quick start? As Danny Vasquez ropes a single over the middle, and the Roughriders are started with a base hit. So Andrew Brown in the 5 spot, then after that, Jack Murphy at the pitcher spot. Then you've got Sean Perkins at shortstop, Evan Carbone in left field, which is a bit of an interesting play call. You've got Vincent Panvini of Rollins in the 8 spot, and then Shea McKenna in center field. First pitch is a strike called to Swerdloff. Swerdloff is a relatively new player to the Tri-County scene, took over for Thomas Gasse, who was the manager who won the 2023 Carter Cup for the Roughriders, but after getting an opportunity to be the bullpen catcher for the Reading Fightin' Phils, the Phillies AA affiliate, that was really something that he couldn't turn down. You know, this is obviously a fun summer gig for anybody, but being able to be a bullpen catcher in that kind of predicament, and Swerdloff takes an inside slider for strike 3, 1 away. So already 2 batters through. A leadoff single on the first pitch and a 3-pitch K will bring up McKenna, the third baseman. Shea McKenna is going to ground this one sharply out to short. Vasquez gets out of the way. Throw to first is on a skip, and it is not in time. So they get the fielder's choice. Vasquez is retired. McKenna reaches. We were just about to say he's 2 for 5 on Young campaign, but didn't even have time for that. Here's Ian Murphy out of Barton College in North Carolina, batting .286 on the Young campaign, 2 for 7. 2 RBIs and a .661 OPS. As we said, Roughriders have only played 2 games. This is their 3rd game of the season compared to the 4, this now being the 5th game of the year for CHBR. As they're 3-1, Roughriders are 1-1. That one was a ball down to Murphy. He's got that bat slung over the shoulder. And it's 1-1 on the swing and miss. So a single, a strikeout, and a fielder's choice. Now the runner goes. Here comes the throw. Down to second base is in time. He got him. Side retired. So the Roughriders get a couple runners on, but it ends up being a dud as they get 3 separate runners on base, 1 via single, 1 via fielder's choice, but they're all cut down one way or another. So the Roughriders are left scoreless as CHBR looks to tack on first, going to the bottom half of the first inning. We'll be right back. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Sean Sezawicki gets the start for CHBR here in the bottom of the first inning as Rutgers Camden's Jack Murphy is getting himself the start. As this team pretty littered with a lot of Rutgers Camden Scarlet Raptors. Evan Carbone in left field, Danny Vasquez at second base, and Andrew Brown behind the dish. And the first pitch is a plunk off the shoulder of Sezawicki. So how about that for a rough start as we get a plunker, a hit by pitch on the first pitch of the inning. So CHBR gets a very early base runner for Nick Turnage, very familiar name in the Haddonfield circles. First pitch is a strike, 0-1. Your lineup for CHBR third base tonight, as we said, Sean Sezawicki, the infielder out of Westchester. He takes the third base spot and the leadoff spot tonight. Nick Turnage in right field out of Haddonfield. Justin Sezawicki, his brother, as here's a line drive up the middle. Vasquez tags the bag for one on the first. Is going to be in time for two. So they turn a 4-3 double play, and there's 2 outs. So here's Justin Sezawicki. He's the shortstop, lining up next to his brother Sean out of Elon College. Also Division I baseball, as that one's down, 1-1. So that's your 1, 2, and 3 for CHBR, as that one's down, 2-1. Julian Costa out of Westchester in left. Frankie Ebling at the DH spot. And Damon Suriani, a Gloucester Catholic kid, is in the 6th spot. Sal Cerisi of Immaculata in center field, batting 7th. Zach Chabria out of Drew University, as it's 2-2 now. He's in the 8th spot. Bobby Woodward, the catcher, he bats 9th with John Rorick in second base as a fielder only. 2-2 from Murphy is hitting to shallow left, going over, and actually it's going to stay in enough for the Roughriders to bring it in from the infield. So how about a quick first inning, just 11 minutes, and the first frame is taken care of. Nobody really got any momentum as the pitchers reign supreme. Murphy and Long rolling strong. After 1, no score. We'll be right back.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Top of the second, CHBR and the Roughriders deadlocked at 0 after a lightning-fast first inning. As Ian Murphy will restart his at-bat. First pitch is a strike. He came up to the plate in the first, but the runner behind him, McKenna, got thrown out at second base. So certainly an unusual sequence of events, but there's another strike call, 0-2. Makes for a quick inning and a lot of question marks on the scorecard, but the 4, 5, and 6 spots, Murphy, Andrew Brown, and Jack Murphy, as the throw over to first is in time for a 6-3 ground out. One away. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 95% of students pass their road test with Harper on the first try. If you or your child like those kind of odds, book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, next to Lambs Road. First pitch is a strike to Andrew Brown, the Cinnaminson product, who also a Rutgers Camden player as well. I mean, you know, I was expecting Evan Carbone to be the catcher for this game, not Brown, who's a first baseman by trade, as Brown pokes one in the right field for a base hit. Second hit of the afternoon for the Roughriders is the pitcher, Jack Murphy, comes to bat here. It's a pretty mundane start to the game, to be honest. You know, I think this is one of the differences between high school, college, and, you know, these summer league games, that you really don't see a lot of slugfests. We saw one the other night with Cherry Hill Pittman and Del Ran, although I might be thinking of a different game. But think about it this way, you know, you look at the CHBR games that have been played this year, because they have played 4 games this year. This got a little bit more of a sample size. 7-4 over South Jersey Crew, 6-1 over Camden, 3-1 loss to South Jersey Grizzlies, and 8-6 over Burlington Township. I mean, 8-6, it seems relatively tame in a general baseball scorecard, but that's pretty high scoring for these summer leagues. You know, I've seen from year to year, this is our second year covering this specific summer league, but I've seen that pitching likes to reign supreme in these leagues. The hitting, especially for the older guys, you know, like your Chris Rollins and everybody like that, is a fly ball by Murphy, goes into straightaway right, it's taken in, and there's 2 down. So Turnage comes down with that one, and 2 outs with a runner on. That will bring up the number 7 hitter. That being Perkins. Sean Perkins, 1 for 5 in 2 games played this year. Like we said, Roughriders have split their first 2 games of the year, beating the Crew 13-0 and falling to Camden on a walk-off last night. So both of these teams going into today playing back-to-back games. They played yesterday on Monday. Now they're coming back home today as we start to get into and settled into the summer league season. I mean, last week was definitely a bit different than usual. You saw a lot of different guys getting adjusted. We covered opening night, Gartons and Cherry Hill Pittman, mostly because you looked at the Gartons dugout, and for a 23-man roster, only 12 or 13 guys were actually there. You had a lot of high school guys who were still wrapping up their seasons. And your college guys out of RCSJ, and a lot of the teams that were still dancing, they still had obligations to fulfill, and the summer league couldn't come first. As there is strike 3, and the side is retired. So Perkins goes down on strikes, and CHBR gets out of it. They allow a base hit by Brown, but nothing further. We're through 1.5 from full field, no score.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Bottom of the second inning, there's Rutgers Camden's Evan Carbone in left field, and yes, in left field, the starting catcher for the Scarlet Raptors. I asked him, I said, I thought that was a typo on the lineup card. He usually doesn't play left field, and he said, me neither. Here's a fly ball into deep left field. Carbone's gonna get his chance, and he makes the catch. He's proven us right after all, and there's a one-out play. So there you go. It's giving us a couple of laughs out there in the outfield.
Well, either way, he caught it.
Either way, he did catch it.
He's still a catcher.
So Costa is retired. This brings up Frankie Ebling. Roughriders got through the first two frames, only bringing 7 men to the plate, one above the minimum, as there's a strike called to Ebling. Damon Suriani, the EH, is on deck for CHBR. There's a line drive, foul, off the warehouse, and it's 0-2. Murphy still working fast here, 0-2. Fastball up and in. They say no. I think definitely part of it is that you've got a new manager who, especially on a team where you have a lot of guys coming back for their second, third, fourth, or even longer years in terms of their tenure as a Rough Rider, you're going to experiment with things as a new manager. I mean, this is his third game. He beat the Crew handily on opening night, and then he fell to Camden last night. It's your second game in a row. You don't want to keep guys cold. You want to keep them fresh. And what other way to keep them fresh? If you've got 6 or 7 guys in the dugout that you can switch out, half of them are going to be used for the bullpen anyway. If you're talking about like Martin Faust and stuff like that, or any of the other guys, you could use Turnage. You could probably use, Ian Murphy as one of your guys, or really anybody for that matter. You don't have too many pitchers right now, but the roster changes from night to night. So that one's going to be ball 4 to Ebling. And after being down 0-2 in the count, Ebling works the full count walk and gets on for CHBR. This will bring up Damon Suriani, the product out of Gloucester Catholic, as the strike is called. Oh, 1. Strike 2. Suriani now over at Division II Barton College. Takes the 0-2 high. On deck is another Gloucester Catholic product, Sal Cerisi, out of Immaculata. As the 1-2. Pokes this one the other way. That one's going to go off of Vasquez and goes into right field for a base hit. Gets trapped out there in right, and now 2 runners will be on as Suriani moves Ebling into scoring position. And this will bring up Cerisi, who had his own heroics during the Division III College Baseball World Series with Immaculata. Hit a walk-off grand slam for his club as they advanced on. They did not win the College Baseball World Series, but that's still going on right now. And a great story over there is the story of Birmingham Southern University, which is a college in in Alabama, out of Birmingham. And they made the Division III College World Series despite the university not existing. As the count is 1-1 here to Cerisi. Excuse me, 1-2. Here's a ground ball. This could be 2. Vasquez flips to second for 1 on the first. Hey, can't get him. Ball skips away. And they'll hold that runner at first. So Cerisi reaches on the fielder's choice, and there's 2 down. That did move the runners to the corners. First pitch is a strike, 0-1 to the lefty. With Zach Chabria of Drew at the dish. Now it's outside. Runner's going to get thrown down at second base, but he's in a pickle. And he'll be out at first. So a rather nonchalant pickle. That'll be scored as 2-6-3. Not exactly your typical scorecard bread and butter, but the side is retired. We're through 2 here in Cherry Hill, still deadlocked 0-0. Here we go. Top of the third inning is Evan Carbone, the catcher of Rutgers Camden, gets us started. After a relatively mundane and pedestrian 2 innings, we're already in the third as we've got Carbone, Panvini, and McKenna in the order, as there's a strike called. Very quickly, 0-2. But what we were talking about earlier, and an incredible sight at that with Birmingham Southern College, the university who, out of Birmingham, Alabama, made the Division III College World Series despite the university no longer existing. And what it was that the university announced that they were closing down on May 31st. But yet the college baseball team was still alive and still playing for a championship. Now, they lost a couple of nights ago and their season and program is now gone. But technically, because they were operating after the college had closed, they didn't really get any funding for travel, so they had to, get money from donations and, nonprofits to get pay for their own charter buses. They had to, pay for their own expenses, and it was really nothing was covered by the college because the college didn't exist anymore. Carbone flies out to left, and there's one away. That'll bring up Panvini here. They were a 2019 national runner-up for the College World Series, but it was a heartfelt story. Something that could have been made out of a Disney movie if they had won it all. A college baseball team that won a championship for a school that didn't exist. This count is 0-1 to Panvini. Panvini, the infielder out of Rollins College, which, by the way, that is in Winter Park, Florida. Only a measly 14 hours, 45 minutes from here. Right in the heart of Central Florida, as this one is floated out to the Roughriders dugout, and it's very quickly 0-2. It's right out there in Central Florida. Actually, right in the metro of Orlando, right near Azalea Park and Fairview Shores. Or excuse me, Azalea Park and Fairview Shores.
It's Azalea.
It is Azalea?
Yeah, you said it right the first time.
I did say it. I did say it right. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Fun family story there, as that one's foul ball, still 0-2.
It's a flower. It's azalea.
I know what a flower is.
Okay.
Kind of stuff we talk about in a game like this. Here's the 0-2. Fouled back again, still making contact. Panvini, in this young campaign, batting 1 for 5, has 3 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and a .486 on base percentage for the former Bishop Eustace product. Takes inside, appeal down to first, says yes. Kind of a breakdown in communication there as the home plate umpire called ball, and then they said, no, let's appeal. Not something you'd really see at the collegiate level, but there's 2 down. Cole McKenna of West Deptford takes a strike, 0-1. Roughriders with 2 hits on the evening, as that one is high, 1-1. 3 strikeouts, 1 in each inning for Long, the Immaculata right-hander. This one is roped out towards straightaway left field. This one's going back, but playable, and he makes the catch. Right in front of us as that one's reeled in, and the side is retired. Costa takes it in, and the side is retired, so we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still no runs across here in this Tri-County Central matchup, here from Folk Field.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Bottom of the 3rd inning. Kind of an unusual conundrum in the end of the 2nd inning. As coming up to the plate now will be the lefty for CHBR, that being Zach Chabria. So he started his at-bat, but he'll get restarted now with Bobby Woodward. Strike called. Oh-1 to Chabria with Bobby Woodward on deck. He smokes this one, but it gets caught in the air, and Carbone makes the catch, 1 away. Definitely had a better sound off the bat, but just couldn't get some distance on it. We've seen that tonight. I mean, the wind is kind of blowing out, but it's not strong enough to make too much of an impact, especially in a pitcher-friendly park. As here's one away for Bobby Woodward. Now he is a player that has homered on one of our broadcasts before, and he in fact homered in this ballpark last July in the semifinal game here at Folk. So there's a swing and a miss. For CHBR, he homered right over our heads into the parking lot in what would eventually be a 12-6 final for CHBR. Excuse me, that was the quarterfinal game back in July, because neither of those teams, Haddonfield or CHBR, made the Carter Cup. Roughriders did. CHBR got knocked out in the semifinals in a somewhat controversial way, but here's a pitch from Murphy and inside to Woodward. John Rorick, the second baseman and former Kingsway product, on deck for CHBR before we turn over the order to Sean Sesdewicki, the third baseman. That one is down. 2-2. But like we said, I mean, this has been a good pitcher's duel so far. Kind of the same scenario that we had down in Vineland last week with the Gartons, as that one is roped foul. Still 2-2. Excuse me, 3-2. Murphy is ready, and with the payoff, he delivers. And he got him. Two-seamer up and in, and the side is not retired. Shortstop started walking in like there was 3 outs, but John Rorick still has to bat here. 2 away. Sorry, I missed that one there. Had some tech issues. John Rorick at the dish, the second baseman. That one skips in. 1-1. Brown reaching out to grab that one. Like we said, the Cinnaminson product and the Rutgers Camden Scarlet Raptor. Like we said, good amount of Rutgers Camden guys on here. Which is kind of funny when we covered Roughriders last year when they played Camden. A game that the Roughriders won. As here's a floater in the shallow center field. That's going to drop for a 2-out base hit. In the bottom of the order, getting their job done, getting the first run of the board on, the potential first run of the board on, as John Rorick gets aboard here and brings us back to the top for Sesdewicki. This one's tagged into left center field by Sesdewicki, and it's gone off the roof of one of the cars in the parking lot. Sean Sesdewicki at the top of the order drills a 2-run shot into the left center field alley, getting the greeting from Bones Marciano, and the CHBR club has the first homer of the summer on DWB. 2-0. I think that car was running too. It didn't hit the didn't hit the roof, but it hit the front hood.
At least it didn't break a windshield.
Yeah, it didn't. It'll just leave a little mark. But Murphy allows the first homer of the night and the first runs of the night. It's 2-0, and it comes to the leadoff man as that one is down 1-0. So a good night for Sesdewicki so far. A hit by pitch to lead off the game and a 2-run homer. Strike called. I mean, that one went just to our left. Just got over the fence too. Like we said, for a pitcher-friendly park. Wind blowing out tonight. Bats are looking pretty hot. That one's inside. Estimated distance on that homer, 348 feet, as there's a tapper back to the hill. Murphy takes care of it, and the side is retired. Sean Sesdewicki drills a 2-run home run into the left center field gap and gets the stalemate broken for CHBR. We're through 3, 2-0, third base. Top of the fourth, just wanted a quick clarification. That run from the second did count on the rundown that ended the inning. Because the runner broke from third and he scored before the third out was recorded, the run did count, and now it is a 3-0 ball game. So I wanted to apologize for that real quick, but that is a 4-3 ground out to start the fourth. As Vasquez is retired at the top of the order to bring up Swerdloff, who struck out his first time. Vasquez has been hacking early. Both of his at-bats have ended after one pitch. He singled in the first inning and then tapped out to second in his second at-bat. Swerdloff gives this one a ride, but it's a country mile high to right field. Straight away, and turnage is there, 2 away. Before we lose this fourth inning, let's hop over to DWV trivia time. Hold on here. There we go. So news broke this morning that the San Diego Padres second baseman and who is on the 60-day injured list, Tucupita Marcano, was permanently banned from baseball for life for sports betting against his own team back when he was on the Pirates. This was unveiled this morning by ESPN. In what year was the last player to be banned for betting on baseball? Was it A, 1992, B, 1949, C, 1924, or D, 2016? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. After Swerdloff's flyout, here comes the pitch from Long and the swing and a miss. To Shea McKenna, who grounded into a fielder's choice his first time. And the pitch. Sharply out towards third. A nice scoop and a nice throw is trapped, and it's in time. Side retired. 1-2-3 for the Roughriders as CHBR still continues to be hot, and even after the clarification, they get an extra run on the board. 3-0 going to the bottom of the fourth.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Bottom of the fourth inning here on DWB. CHBR leads Roughriders 3-0. And it's time for today's DWB Trivia Time. We got it started late in the fourth inning, but we'll come right back around to unveil the answer here as the first pitch is inside to CHBR's hitter to lead off the fourth, that being Justin Snezdowicki, followed up by Costa and Ebling, 3, 4, and 5. Here's the 1-0. That one's upstairs, 2-0. This morning, the news was unveiled that San Diego's Tucupita Marcano was permanently banned from baseball for life due to sports betting, including, back when he was on the Pittsburgh Pirates, betting against his own team and betting on them to lose. When was the last year that a player got banned permanently for sports betting? Was it 1992, B, 1949, D, 1924, or D, 2016? By the way, that was ball 4 to Snezdowicki. Producer Donna, you got a guess?
A.
Be incorrect. That was one of the last times that a player did get banned, but the last time it was, you would have to go 100 years ago, and yes, C is the correct answer, 1924, when Jack O'Connell was banned permanently from baseball for betting against his own team. And yet, 100 years ago, sports betting was mostly made up of bootleggers running moonshine, but this year it's made up of FanDuel and DraftKings and stuff that you can play on your phone. But got a runner on here with nobody out, as Pete Rose was banned for betting on games while he was a manager. But I should...
Not as a player.
Yeah, and that's going to be a sliding catch in left by Evan Carbone. Runner will go back to first. Nice play as Carbone goes down to his knees and drills it. Strike one to Frankie Ebling. So Carbone's had a good debut out in left field. As throw back to first, not in time. 3-0 CHBR. But yes, the difference is that Rose was banned not even while he was a manager, but after he was a manager. So basically, the wording of that was supposed to imply when they were an active player when they were banned. So, of course, the whole fallout of what's been going on in Major League Baseball has been kind of crazy. Everything going on today. 4 players got suspended for a year for betting, but that was just because they bet on baseball, not because they bet in games that they were involved in. And one of them actually was a Phillies minor league player, Jose Rodriguez. The others were Athletics relief pitcher Michael Kelly, along with Diamondbacks left-handed pitcher Andrew Saalfrank, Padres minor league pitcher Jay Groom, who is a Jersey product, South Jersey product actually. He comes from Barnegat High School, was a first-round pick by the Red Sox back in 2016. So 3 minor league pitchers, 1 major league pitcher, that being Michael Kelly, and then Tucupita Marcano, one of the second basemen for the Pirates, who was currently, at least at the time, on the 60-day injured list, as he had a season-ending surgery back in August of last year when he was in Pittsburgh, and ended up this morning getting permanently banned from Major League Baseball. But that's kind of the dilemma that a lot of people face with sports betting, is that it's something that used to be not taboo, but something that you would only do if you were partying for the weekend in Atlantic City and Las Vegas. But now sports betting has become a lot more casual and a lot more not necessarily accepted, as that's going to be a foul ball hit off the batter's foot.
Well, it's instant too, because it's online everywhere.
Exactly. You can place a whole bunch of parlays just with your debit card. You know, it kind of reminds me of restaurant tabs, where if you spent $100 on dinner and you had to pay in cash, you feel those $100 going out of your hand and you know you just lost $100. But if you go and spend $100 and you're just using your Apple Tap or anything like that, as there's a base hit in the center field, gets bobbled, and that'll load the bases for CHBR. So a base hit up the middle exacerbates the situation here.
Yeah, you're right though. If you're doing it online,
As here is Cerisi now. Manager Swerdloff coming out. I did see a right-hander warming up in the pen for the Roughriders, and that would be number 9, Martin Faust out of Haddonfield. I mean, that's the thing, is that, like we said, 100 years ago, sports betting was just as big of a problem as it is today, except you weren't doing it so publicly. You were doing it, you know, in the basement of a Chicago bootlegging operation, and it was a much different fashion. It was done by gangsters and criminals. You know, they were putting all their poker chips in the pile. Now any old Joe Schmo that's 21 that can do it.
and James Smos too.
That's true. But the thing is that it's a double-edged sword. As the first pitch is fouled back by Cerisi, it's 0-1. Part of me says sports betting is morally bad because you're wasting your money on gambling, and a lot of people are getting in trouble for it, and they're getting addictions to it. But that's what we said about alcohol 100 years ago, and you know, the prohibition movement back in the 1920s and 1910s, alcohol got banned. What did people do? They still drank alcohol, they just did it illegally. That's what people were doing with sports betting. They were betting on sports, but they were just doing it illegally. Now that they can do it legally, the taboo is lifted, the legal barrier is lifted, and whatever you do, you kind of assume the risk. Cerisi's got a base hit in the center field. He's going to drive home 1, and in fact, he's going to drive home 2 as Brown's throw goes up the line, and that makes it 5-0 CHBR. As a 2-run single up the middle brings out the hook from Coach Swerdloff, and it looks like Martin Faust will be coming in, as we'll have a DWB pitching change here in the bottom of the 4th, a 2-spot for CHBR as they continue to pour on a couple runs here. Looks like Faust will be coming in, so we'll be right back. Martin Faust, the right-hander, in for Haddonfield as he faces Zach Chabria. CHBR with an outbreak inning. Only one out. They've had 3 straight singles as Cerisi drove home 2. CHBR looking to go 4-1 on the young campaign as there's a strike. 0-1 to Chabria with Bobby Woodward on deck. So one of the things we were talking about over the break is that sports betting has especially become a prolific issue just in the past 12 months. You've got the Jonte Porter incident, the brother of Michael Porter Jr. on the Raptors, another case of a player betting against his own team and then getting caught for it and banned, and then the Shohei Ohtani scandal. I mean, Shohei Ohtani today, the investigation by Major League Baseball and by the FBI was formally closed. And they cleared him of wrongdoing. They proceeded with...
They cleared Shohei, right?
Yeah, they cleared Shohei. And they proceeded to file charges against his ex-interpreter, Ippei Muzahara. But here's the crazy thing about that scandal. No matter how many times people say that Shohei is cleared, as here's a fly ball deep in the right center field. That one is going to one-hop off the fence in right center field off the bat of Chabria. That's going to bring home 1. It'll hold the runner on third, but that brings in another for CHBR, and it's 6-0. So a rough spot here for the Roughriders as they go to the bullpen, but yet still can't get relief. Can't put a tourniquet down on this inning. Yeah. So CHBR has plated their 3rd run as we go to the number 9 hitter, Woodward, with Rorick on deck. First pitch, curveball, loops for a strike, 0-1. But, yeah, I mean, right now, that's the biggest thing in baseball is that sports betting scandal that kind of rocked everybody in March, when you could see video for years of Ippei and Shohei, you know, hanging out together during the game when he's in the dugout, and they're just having a good time. They looked like best friends. But I think the issue is that Ippei gained Shohei's trust to the point where he filed apparently some money that he had to an illegal bookkeeper in California, and then also was so bad at betting that he had to steal more money to pay off his gambling debts, and ended up stealing, I think, somewhere in the range of like $15 million, which is incredible. He has over, I think, 50 counts of misappropriation of funds and wire fraud against him, as there's a base hit in the left. He wired that one down the left field line. That's going to bring in Chabria and Cerisi. That'll be a 2-run double for Woodward, and the hits keep on coming. It's 8-0. Man. Definitely not the game that we were expecting. You know, considering that this is the reigning champions facing off against the semifinalists from last year, and these guys always had good matchups, but it just seems like Haddonfield is still having those early season woes. You know, they lost to Camden, a team that they took care of pretty easily last year, and now they're having some more trouble here versus third base. Still only 1 out versus Rorick here. That one is down. So the 5th run of the inning to come across. With just a runner on second, that being Woodward. Rorick gets a piece of it. It's foul, 1-2. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Visit today 7 days a week to keep your pet happy and healthy with the most organic food products in South Jersey. Visit today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. And also, we're always looking for small business owners to get in on the advertising game of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We offer commercial packages for as low as $250 for 6 months. For an advertising flyer and more information on how to get in on one of South Jersey's biggest up-and-coming broadcasting businesses. Send me an email today at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. All of the commercials you see on this broadcast are filmed, edited, recorded, and produced by me. It goes towards my college fund and towards equipment expenses. All support is appreciated, as that one's going to go into left field. That'll continue with the run support, but they'll hold Woodward at third as a base hit at the bottom of the order by Rorick is really helping this total team effort, as the Roughriders are just getting shelled. Absolutely shelled. The second hit by Rorick in this ball game, he's now 2 for 2. The eighth batter out of the 10 in this order. As Sesdawicki comes back up here. Sesdawicki back in the third had a 2-run shot to left center field. But in total, he's 1 for 1, as he also had a hit by pitch in the first inning. Beautiful day here from Cherry Hill. Can't get much better than this. Not a lot of wind. The heat especially is pretty low, considering that it was 85 at its high, but right now 80 degrees. Wind blowing to the south and southeast at about 8 or 9 miles per hour. Just a perfect breeze, as that one is down 2-0 to Sesdawicki. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock between the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Gloucester Lions in the Group 1 state semifinal from Jim Kelly Field in Gloucester. Should be a fun one, as we have our final game of the 2024 high school baseball season. Of course, you'll see a lot of the high school prospects and prodigies in the American Legion games that we'll have this summer, as this one's roped into the right center field gap. That takes a 2-hop off the wall. 1 run's going to score in Woodward. Rorick's on his horse. The throw on the cut from Vasquez just misses Brown, and a 2-run double by Sesdawicki extends the lead further and gets the double digits for CHBR. And now here comes Swerdloff again. So they're going to take Faust out after not recording a single out. Man. So 2 runs came in the score. And Dobbs of RCSJ Gloucester was already warming up in the pen just a couple of batters ago. And are they going to keep him in, or are they not? No, they're going to have him walk off the mound. So our second pitching change of the inning. Faust comes in and really just exacerbates the problem here for the Roughriders. Mason Dobbs going to come in from RCGC, the reigning Division III repeat 2X national champions. He'll come in here for the Black and Orange, as he's going to try to stop the bleeding, as it is 10-0 CHBR on an 8-run frame. We'll be right back. Nick Turnage batting in the bottom of the fourth as CHBR has exploded with one away. The second pitching change of the inning brings in Dobbs. 10th batter of the frame takes a strike. Runner on second as an 8-run fourth inning, which started out pretty tamely enough. You know, 1 run in the second, 2 runs in the third on the shot from Sesdowicki. But now this game has kind of been turned on its head as that one is down. I mean, we started talking about the pace of play because the first 3 innings had gone pretty swimmingly. We had gotten them all in about 35 minutes, which is a really, really good pace, especially if you can get it done and get the 6 innings done in an hour 10. Shortest DWB broadcast we ever had was actually this past month in mid-May. Sterling and Audubon played a game in 1 hour and 21 minutes. All 7 innings, which is an incredible pace. But it's mostly because their guys were swinging first pitch pretty much every single time. As the count is 2-1 to Turnage. Everybody on both teams were basically swinging first pitch every time, and, excuse me, that was ball 4 there. My apologies, lost track. As the lineup turns over to the man who started it, Justin Sesdowicki. First pitch is a strike. I heard the center fielder said it was the top of the order, but that would not be the case. As Sesdowicki's on second, Turnage is on first. This is the 3rd batter of the order, but he was the first this inning. That's a base hit in the center field. Here comes the throw to the plate. Runner's gonna go. Brown picks it up, and he got him. He got around the tag, and he will score. So Sesdowicki scores, Turnage holds at second, and Justin Sesdowicki drives in his brother on an RBI single, makes it 11-0. Here's Julian Costa. He is 0 for 2. Flew out to left both times. It's funny how the shortest and longest DWB broadcasts, at least for baseball this year, have come in the same season. That one's a swing and a miss. Or I should say, longest regular 7-inning game. We've had the longest one that we ever had was back in April of 2022 between West Deptford and Audubon. That was a game that went 12 innings before a walk-off home run by now Rutgers player Isaiah Pinckney. Game went 12 innings, 3 hours and 36 minutes. Game was already going slow to begin with, and then it got pushed back with the litany of extra innings, but at least those went quickly, and you were in the 12th before you knew it. Here's the 1-1, fouled back, and it's 1-2. But, yeah, funny thing about that was that went into the game thinking that Audubon was going to win it because they had the bases loaded, 2 outs, and a 3-0 count. If the West Deptford pitcher threw another ball, the game was over. But then they fouled a couple off, and he struck out, and that's how the inning ended. And then you went to the 8th, and then the 9th, 10th, 11th, and so on, and then the game ended in the bottom of the 12th. The longest 7-inning game we had was back in March, a scrimmage between Cherry Hill West and Gloucester Catholic. Now, it was probably long because it was 40 degrees and windy over in Brooklawn, as the 2-strike pitch is fouled down the first base line and into the barn. Still 1-2, but that game went 3 hours and 17 minutes just for a 7-inning affair. A game that Cherry Hill West won 11-4. But we've had a relatively consistent mark, especially when Audubon plays, of 2-hour or less games. We've seen it a lot this year, especially in the month of May. I don't know why, necessarily. Haddon Township Audubon, the quarterfinal playoff game from a couple of weeks ago, that was 1 hour 59 as a tapper up the first base line will get out number 2, which who knows when out number 3 is going to be, but Costa now 0 for 3 is the only batter for CHBR to have not gotten a hit tonight. First pitch to Ebling is a strike, 0-1. But what an inning this has been. 9 runs. It's the second largest eruption of runs in an inning this season. The other being PVI versus Pingree. Back on May 22nd, they exploded for 11 runs in the 6th inning of a 13-4 win in the first round of South Jersey non-public A playoffs. That one is high, 1-1. I mean, those Roughriders players definitely going to have to stretch in the dugout. They've been standing in the field for a while, and that's something of utter importance, especially in a game that has kind of run away from itself, as the count is 1-2 now. Strike on a curveball. With 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs for CHBR, as they're going to try to continue their offensive onslaught here. Strike 3, right down the plate, and after a couple of eons, and I don't even know, the inning is over. 9 runs come to the dish for CHBR as they lead 11-0 after 4 here from Folk Field. We'll be right back.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Strike called to Ian Murphy to start the top of the 5th. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates. Here's a chopper to third. Nice backhand from across the diamond by Says the Wiki. He got him. Murphy retired, and there's one away. I mean, like we said, these Rough Rider guys have been yearning and eager to get back into the box, considering that they gave up 9 runs in the 4th in what is now an 11-0 game. That one misses. Line drive out to second. Rorick boots it, recovers, and he got him. So back-to-back ground outs put Long in a good position here, and there's 2 away. Here's Jack Murphy. Flew out to right his first time. Rough Riders have been held to just 2 hits. One off of Vasquez, one from Brown. But Long has been really reliable tonight, and especially one of the things that can throw off a pitcher the most is when your team has an offensive onslaught. I mean, it sounds like a positive thing, and 99% of the time it is. When your team scores 9-10 runs in an inning, that's great. You get to rest. You get to, kind of sit there for an extended period of time, as Murphy's going to bang this one into the left field corner. That one's going to hook off the fence gets picked up, and that will be a 2-out double for Rutgers Camden's Jack Murphy, as the former starting pitcher helps out what was his own cause. 2 outs and a runner on. Here is Perkins, who struck out his first time. Strike called here. And there's another strike call. 0-2. So one of the things that we were talking about was that you've got to keep your pitchers fresh. We've seen it before in all levels of baseball. When the offense is riding hot, the pitcher will go back out to the bullpen and throw some warm-up pitches just so that they don't sit in the dugout for too long and kind of reset. Because if you reset, you're kind of going back to square one, and you don't want that. So an infield single off the bat of Perkins puts runners on the corners for Carbone. As the Roughriders have respectively gotten their 3rd and 4th hits of the evening, as we're just about to hit 7:30 here from Cherry Hill. Sunset isn't until 8:25, so you've got theoretically another hour to play, which I wouldn't jinx anything considering how this CHBR offense has been. But it's funny, this isn't the first time that they've had this kind of incredible offensive outburst on us in a broadcast. Our second ever DWB broadcast of Tri-County ball, as that one gets away, moves Perkins down to second base, and it's 1-1. So they won that game over the Haddonfield Dogs 21-4 and hit 5 homers while doing it, funny enough. But so it's deja vu all over again, as there's a strike. It's 1-2. And second game of the season in both years, they've had innings where they've scored 8 or more, and they've just hit the ball really well. It hasn't been walks, it's just been a whole lot of singles, doubles, and homers. Swing and a miss by Carbone, and the Roughriders leave 2 runners on. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. CHBR looking to extend their lead from a lot to a little more than a lot. It's 11-0. We'll be right back.
Tommy D's Home Design Center has opened. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Bottom of the 5th here on DWB. Cherry Hill BR trying to extend on their incredible lead that they've amassed here, most of it in the 4th, as Faust takes a ball, or rather throw the ball inside. 1 out. Suriani gets the party started for CHBR, and it's 2-0. Suriani, Cerici, and Chabria for the third base club in the bottom of the fifth after a 9-run fourth inning. That brought a grand total of 13 batters to the plate, which says a lot about how their offense has been this year. Strike called. 2-1. Got an arm warming up in the pen down the left field line for the third base club, and that is number 99, John Schweitzer. Now, hold on. Must have had the count wrong. That was ball 4. Suriani has reached base all 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. This brings up Cerici. Ball 1. Schweitzer, of course, might be a familiar name to some, considering that he is a co-owner of the YouTube page CS99 TV, which is a couple of students over at Pottstown University. They have gone viral in recent years for their gig, which is tennis baseball, where they play baseball, and sometimes they've done it on this diamond, but it's baseball with tennis rackets. The pitcher has a tennis racket in hand as that one goes behind Brown. He didn't even know where that ball went, but it hit off the top of the fence. And now moving over and getting there at second is Suriani. As the count is 2-0. Strike called. So yeah, Schweitzer throwing out there, going in the opposite direction now. His pitcher and catcher switched. His catcher was facing towards the dugout, now he's facing away from it. And I missed something again, so it's ball 4. Sorry guys, this has not been my best night. An 11-0 game, what can you do? But this brings up the lefty, Chabria. That one goes to the backstop, and Brown picks it up. But no harm, no foul. Sun setting a little bit behind us here. Like we said, probably still have about 45 minutes to play, but just this game was going so well in terms of pace of play, and has now come to a screeching halt, as that's going to be a base hit back up the middle. It hits off the lip of the grass and now gets stopped in center field. He's got trouble with it, and that will load the bases as nobody decides to push the needle here, as a base hit by Chabria will bring up Bobby Woodward.
I think with 11-0, they didn't feel the need to push that.
No, there was no need. I mean, I get it in the fourth you wanted to keep the bats hot, but right now you got nobody out, your bats are hot again, and Bobby Woodward could hit a grand slam, and you didn't have to worry about how far you got to run. Just got to worry about how far you got to jog. 1-0 to Woodward here as Brown will toss back to Faust. Like we said, at this point in the regular season, you probably got to wait until week 3 or week 4 until you have a full roster. At least the thing is with the Roughriders is that they are all relatively young. They are all a high school or college team. As Woodward floats this one in the right, everybody will move up 90 feet, and an RBI single from the 9-hitter makes it 12-0, an even dozen for CHBR. That was CHBR's 12th hit of the night, so really haven't had an issue with leaving runners on base, considering that 12 runs, 12 hits, pretty even. It would be different if they had 12 runs on 20 hits, meaning that, maybe you didn't score as much as you probably should have, but bases are loaded. Brown drops that one, and it's 1-1 to Rorick, the second baseman. But, yeah, funny the way it is with this team. Every year they make their debut on Tri-County Baseball, and they put on a show for us here at Folk Field. Foul back. And 1-2. But yeah, like I said, you probably got to wait until week 3 or 4 to see full rosters of a lot of these teams, like the Gartons, and especially Cherry Hill Pittman, who's got a lot of older guys, not necessarily college age. You know, like your Chris Rollins and stuff like that. But, I mean, this team is basically all either college age guys or guys who are very freshly out of college by maybe a year or two. CHBR has a mix of a little bit of everything, but again, they're still relatively young, so once the college season is over, you can start right away. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Rorick is down on strikes. 1 away. It took us 5 batters to get the first out of the 5th. Bringing up Sesdewicki, 2 for 2, and he is driven in 4 RBIs, a 2-run homer in the 3rd, 2-run double. In the 4th as a part of that 13-batter frame. One. 2-1 now to the leadoff man, Sean Sesdewicki, who's been on an absolute tear tonight. He's gonna look to do it again, this time off of Faust. Or excuse me, off of, guess I had to count wrong again. Again, sorry guys, that's a walk to Sesdewicki. And it's 13-0 on the bases loaded walk. I think this is part of the adjustment that the Roughriders have to go through now that they've lost Gasse, who has a couple of championships under his belt as a player and as a coach. That one's inside to Turnage, and it's 1-0. You know, when you've got a brand new manager of the Summer League team, sometimes the manager walks into the dugout and shakes the hands of the players that he hasn't seen before. We saw it in the Gartons last week where Braden Davis, one of the Rowan players who came through, he was shaking the hands of the players, saying hello, nice to meet you, as he was in the on-deck circle. As the pitch is down to Turnage. Inside again. Bases loaded. They already had a bases loaded walk. We'll see what they have here, and that is another bases loaded walk. So that brings home another run. I mean, this is unfortunate, you know. 3rd run of the inning, 2nd one to come in on a bases loaded walk, and I think they're taking out Dobbs here, and yes, they are. So we will have a DWB pitching change, and this game, like we said, speak of the devil, they were going so fast, got the first 3 innings done in 35 minutes, and now this game has completely come to a screeching halt. It is 14-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and you know what? Hold on here. Got to find out if they're doing a pitching change or if they are leaving Dobbs in. Can't tell. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. No, Dobbs is still in the game. So this is what's throwing me off. He's just throwing a couple warm-up pitches here to Brown. I wonder if they're concerned about injury. They might just be making sure that he's okay. I mean, let's be honest, the Roughriders in this situation, they don't have many options. This isn't a Major League Baseball team where you have 11 pitchers, 6 of them are bullpen guys, and if something goes wrong, you can pull the plug right away, and you've got a plethora of options to go through. You know, you went through 3 pitchers in the fourth. Now you're on your 3rd pitcher, and you don't have that many. So unless you're going to bring an unnatural pitcher, i.e. a position player, to get him on the mound, then that would make the situation a lot more different. But looks like while Dobbs gets checked out, we're going to take a quick break here in the bottom of the 5th inning as the bases are loaded and the runs keep on coming on free passes. 14-0 CHBR. All right, so back in order again. That didn't take too long. I thought he was just gonna throw a couple more pitches here, but we return to action with Justin Sezdowiecki. That one skips in 1-0. Obviously tough time here for Dobbs. Just trying to go over strategy, trying to avoid this game from unraveling, but it already really has. You know, there's plenty of 3 or 4 run comebacks that you can come from, but once you got down to the 7, 8, and 9 guys in the order and they just kept roping singles and doubles and driving in runs, that chemistry on the team just was so fluid in that moment that there was really nothing that you could do. The hits would just keep on coming. It wasn't really the pitcher's fault. He was throwing strikes, but the problem was that he was throwing strikes right over the plate. Here's the problem now. He's not throwing strikes. So the count is 3-0, and that is going to be roped into left center field. It's deep for Sezdowiecki. It's off the wall. 1 run's going to score. They're going to bring a second one home. Throw to third is not in time, and that will be a 2-run double for Justin Sezdowiecki to make it a 2-point conversion, 16-0. 2-run double by the 3-hitter brings up Costa. So that is now the 4th and 5th runs to come across here, as they'll bring up Costa, who is 0 for 3. Like we said, the only batter for CHBR not to get on base tonight. He feels pretty left out of the party. That one's down, 1-0. But after 2 back-to-back bases loaded walks and that 2-run double, man, gotta feel bad for the Roughriders here, especially this is a roller coaster of a season to begin with. You had a dominant 13-0 win over the Crew, and then you lost on a walk-off to Camden, a team that you probably should have beat, and then now you guys are facing the semifinalists from last year that you guys beat in the regular season and are now having immense trouble with, as it's 2-1. Dobbs set and delivers. Fastball away. Excuse me, 3-2. Heard that one loud and clear. Ball 4. So there you have it. Every CHBR hitter has now reached base, and for Costa, it wasn't in the way that anybody would envision. A walk is a walk, but now this brings up Ebling, the 10th hitter of the inning, which will round out the rotation for CHBR. And there is still only 1 out. Ebling, 1 for 2 tonight. It's a swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Got the bases loaded again, but it seems like Dobbs has redeemed himself and gotten back into the swing of things, which is always a good sign. 2-2. Don't forget, our next broadcast will be tomorrow between the Point Pleasant Beach Garnet Gulls and the Gloucester Lions in the Group 1 state semifinal. The Win will play either Brearley or Pompton Lakes from Veterans Park on Saturday. Now, people have been asking me, by the way, that it was a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Ebling is retired, and that is his second strikeout at the plate tonight. Dobbs with an 0-1. To the 11th batter, Suriani. So if you count the numbers up before we begin, or before we resume, 13 batters in the fourth, now on batter number 11, as it's 0-2 now, batter number 11 of the fifth, 24 batters in 2 innings, with 9 runs in the fourth, 5 in the fifth. They've brought 14 of their 16 runs home in just 2 frames. And there is strike 3. They leave the bases loaded, and they were a grand slam away from putting a 2 and a 0 on the board. Roughriders have a lot of work to do, and they don't have that much time left. We go to the 6th. We're not exactly losing daylight yet, but we're certainly getting there. After 5, 16-0 CHBR. Top of the 6th, John Schweitzer in for CHBR as Long had a really good night. Matt Long of Immaculata definitely put a couple eyes on him. I mean, certainly Immaculata's already had their eyes on him considering he's on that team, but a really good night for him, and especially the fact that he's been able to stay consistent even with the offensive barrage that we've seen, 24 batters in 2 innings and a 16-0 ball game. Even with the other team getting shelled and him not being in the order to just stay active because he's, kind of been all over in the dugout for the past hour. Definitely a good sign that he's staying healthy out there. As here's a 6-3 chopped out to the short. And Panvini is retired. This brings up McKenna. Like we said, for CHBR, a team that has had 15 hits tonight, they have held the Roughriders to only 2. The final line for Matt Long in 5 innings is 4 strikeouts, 2 hits, and no walks surrendered or hit by pitches. I mean, the first pitch of the game was a leadoff single to Danny Vasquez, and then he gave up a double to Jack Murphy down the left field line, excuse me. So I'm sorry, he gave up 4 hits. My apologies, but still, 2 of those 4 hits came when the game was already out of hand and already taken care of for the night. So when we find out what game we'll be covering for the next edition of the Tri-County Baseball Game of the Week, we will let you all know on our Twitter and on our Instagrams at DW Broadcasting. There's a big swing and a miss there by the center fielder, McKenna. And it's 0-2. We usually plan 1 week in advance, but with the hectic week that's coming up for myself personally, still figuring out what the game plan will be. But still a beautiful night here in Cherry Hill, even if the game on the field isn't necessarily that pretty. 1-2 from Schweitzer is a high chopper out towards third, picked up by Sesdawicki, and man, he has been a star tonight, offensively and defensively. 2 away, 4 RBIs, I guess 5 if you count the bases loaded walk. And the lineup turns back over to the top for Danny Vasquez. Actually, no, that is not Vasquez's dish. They are bringing up somebody else. That is number 53. Give us 1 second here. He got jammed, but held off on that one. 1-0. That is Pat Doheny, another Rutgers-Camden product, who is having his first at-bat of the season. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1. Excuse me. Schweitzer kicks and delivers. That one is down. 2-1. Just kind of skipped away there. Right now, the only other games on the docket here for DWB, like we said, Point Pleasant Beach and Gloucester tomorrow in the Group 1 state semifinal for baseball. State semifinals are all covered by the state and NJSIAA, so that's something that I keep my hands off with. And then Sunday, June 9th is our first American Legion game of the year, the doubleheader between Gloucester Township Blue and Gloucester Township White. Should be a fun one with Tyler Coluccio, another South Jersey fella who has put his fingerprints all over. That one is down. Surprised on that one there, as it's now 3-1. Or excuse me, 3-2 with the foul ball. Payoff to Doheny is fouled off the top of the netting. Still a full count though. As we said, CHBR, I mean, I think the player of the game has to be Sesdawicki. You know, he has been pretty much flawless at third base. And with 5 RBIs on the night, a double, a hit by pitch, and a 2-run home run that we now learned is off of John Gallante's car that he has since moved. But John Gallante, the president of the Tri-State Elite Umpiring Association, which is the umpiring association that is covering this game tonight, hence why he is here. Doheny fouls it off again. Count is still full. He stays alive. Not giving up on this one, the pinch hitter, Doheny. But it looks like, at least from the looks of it, that they're going to go to back to the manager, Swadeloff, as a line drive by Doheny, fair down the left field line. This one's going to be picked up by Costa, and he falls over at first base as laughter erupts from the first base dugout as Doheny basically face planted rounding first, and he gets himself a base hit. And yes, this does bring up Swadeloff. You know you're a beloved figure when you can fall down and your dugout can have a laugh with you, as he will shake it off. They were going to check on him at first, but he's just shaking it off. He's all right. First pitch from Schweitzer is roped out towards right. Got a good tag on it, but it is foul into the forest down there. To Swadeloff. Runner goes on his horse down to second, and he steals. And in fact, no throw was made, so he got in there, and it's 2-1. 2 outs, runner on second for the Roughriders as they're going to try to make this deficit just a little bit tighter. Ground ball out to third. Says DeWicki, goes right under his glove. Goes into left field. Costa's got it. Dohany's going to round third. He will score. And this game has just been turned on its head. It's 16-1. Did you hear the Roughriders dugout? They said, comeback is happening, guys. Even they're kind of joking around with it. As here is McKenna. So the RBI single, and now a base hit in the left by McKenna. Told you guys the comeback is happening. They got 2 runners on now. So Schweitzer in a little bit of trouble here. And now here's Ian Murphy with 2 runners on. There was a pitcher warming up in the pen for CHBR, but he has since moved in. That is Danny Donato. Or excuse me, Danny DiDonato, number 14, who is out there. But Roughriders not going down without a valiant effort here in the 6th. They've gotten the run home on the RBI single by the manager Swadoff, who scored the runner. And now 3 straight hits in a row by the top of the order have put Schweitzer in trouble. Here in the top half of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch. High chopper. Over towards short, and actually to third. He got him. Inning over. So the threat is thwarted, and Roughriders leave 2 runners on, but do get a run home on an RBI single by the manager, Swadoff. They've still got a lot of work to do in the bottom of the 6th, 16-1. All right, bottom of the 6th inning here on DWB. Got a good one here tonight between the CHBR Roughriders and the Roughriders. Excuse me, the CHBR Third Base Club and the Roughriders. But let me say this, just as a pretext. This game was chosen to be the game of the week because it looked good on paper. And this is the perfect example of not every game that you have on paper is going to be a great game in practice. We saw this last year with CHBR and Haddonfield, but here's the thing. You know, I think the Roughriders are just having a rough start with the fact that they're adjusting to a new manager, they are getting the ball rolling in ways that we weren't expecting, and they had a good start by beating the South Jersey Crew 13-0. But I feel like that loss from Camden last night, combined with the fact that they had to play an extra inning in that, and the fact that they're playing back-to-back nights, has kind of worn them down a little bit. It was a swing and a miss in a game that has very quickly devolved. Brings up Cerisi, Chabria, and Woodward. Dobbs is kind of experimenting with a slower windup here. I mean, this is the kind of tomfoolery that goes on in a 16-1 game. You've made changes in the field. Carbone is out from left. That one's up and in. The new left fielder for the Roughriders is Cole McKenna. So I'm wondering who they put at third base. I guess they put, okay, so they moved, I see what they did. They moved Carbone from left to right. They put Panvini from right to third, put McKenna from third to left. And now they've got the guy at shortstop who throws it away. As Pat Doheny commits an error and gets the leadoff runner on. Although that was not Cerisi that batted, because that was not number 0. We'll have to figure out what's going on here, but it might be Ryan Millard, because here is now Pete Longo, the batter for CHBR. Crushed foul into the trees and almost knocked down a power line. Outside, 1-1. This broadcast is brought to you by Vincent's Lawn Care. Summer is right around the corner, if it's not in full swing already. Get your lawn care in order with front lawns, back lawns, or anything in between. Weekly, bi-weekly, or anytime, just by calling our good friend Vincent, 609-413-0403. Put your lawn in some trusted hands. Swing and a miss. And it's a 2-strike count now from Dobbs with the runner on. As with the game started at 6:10, we are at the 1 hour 50-minute mark, which isn't even that bad of pace for a 7-inning game. It's just the fact that it's been a 16-1 game with not a lot of action has really made it drag. It's a strike 3 call.
Feels like we've been here for 4 hours.
You feel like you've been here for 4 hours.
Well, it does, yeah.
Yeah. Your passage of time is a lot different than mine, but
Because I'm older.
here is Woodward now, the number 9 hitter. Takes low. Woodward is 2 for 3. A double, single, and a strikeout to this point. 2 RBIs. Up and in. 2-0. Three-0. Line shot over the middle. This could be 2. Doheny's got 1. Throw to first on a scoop is in time. And they get the 4-6-3 double play to fall, and the inning is over. Roughriders have a chance, but they'll be in a race against the clock as the sun sets in about 20 minutes, and they'll have to get 15 runs on the board. We go to the top of the 7th as the Roughriders look for the last stand. 16-1. Top of the 7th inning, potential last swings here for the Roughriders. As the new pitcher for the blue and red throws that one for a strike, 0-1. The new pitcher is number 31, Pete Longo. Coming in here for CHBR in a 16-1 lead in the 7th. That one is down, 1-1. For the Roughriders, you've got right around the middle of the order, you've got Brown, Murphy, and Perkins, 5, 6, and 7 for the visitors. They got their lone run just this past inning in the 6th. That one's away. That one is cracked into left field. There's a base hit. And Andrew Brown gets the party started in the 7th as the Scarlet Raptor gets a base hit down the left field line straight away and gets a leadoff runner on. His second base hit of the night. Strike one. There's a grounder that gets skipped off of the glove of Sezewicki, skips into center field, and takes it himself. And the runner gets on. So now that's 2 aboard in a row after the base hit by Murphy. Here is Perkins. It was just a loud belch in center field, center or right field.
Sounded like a bullfrog.
We're back in Australia. First pitch to Murphy, or excuse me, to Perkins, who follows Murphy, is down 1-0. You know, there's some games where it's a situation like this. Tuesday night, 16-1 game. There's some situations where you can hear a pin drop, or you can hear a center fielder belch. Here's a fly ball to right, take it in. And we've got 1 out.
That wasn't the first one either. I just was holding in my laughter from the first one.
I didn't hear the first one.
Yeah,
that was the first one I heard.
I was laughing. I was holding it in.
I mean, hey.
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to imagine Barry Bonds' 2002 World Series, he probably did it.
Yep.
Every outfielder, they have that space. When there's 40,000 people in the grandstands, though, you don't hear it. He's outside to Carbone. 1-0. So 2 singles to start out this 7th inning here as the Roughriders look to get themselves back in front, as that one is away. 2-0. There's a line shot back over the middle. This could be 2. He flips it for 1. What a throw, but it goes into the street. Actually, it's going to stay in the ballpark, so no extra bases. But that does move Murphy to Ian Murphy to third. Or I'm sorry, Andrew Brown to third. That puts runners in the corners as Carbone reaches now with 2 away. Possibly last chance for the Roughriders, and it will be not Doherty, but they're going to go back to Panvini. Here's a fly ball hit well into center field, but this should do it. Going over, and he makes the catch. That's the ball game. In 2 hours and 1 minute, the Cherry Hill BR Third Base Club puts up an offensive barrage, and for the second year in a row, they score 16 or more on a DWB showcase, and what a way to put Game of the Week in bold. They knock out the Roughriders 16-1 as they take care of business in a game that started smoothly enough with a 2-run shot by Sean Sesdewicki in the third, but he continues to be a force as he is your Harper Driving School Player of the Game. Now, while we are losing daylight, we will not have an interview today. He does go for a grand total of 2 for 2 at the dish and 4 plate appearances. He walked, got hit by a pitch, and drove in 5 runs. 1 on a bases-loaded walk, and 2 more on the homer, 2 more on the double. But the story of the game aren't just those 16 runs, it's also the 24 batters in 2 innings. They brought 13 men to the dish in the 4th and 11 in the 5th. An offensive onslaught for them tonight propels them with their highest scoring game of the year to 4-1 as they continue to hold sole possession of first place in the Tri-County Central Division. The Roughriders fall to 1-2 after going 0 for 2 in both of their back-to-back nightly appearances, and they'll have a couple more divisional games on the docket this week. That's all for us tonight here on DWB as these guys get wrapped up, and we've got an excellent game ahead of us tomorrow in Gloucester. From everybody here at DWB, our social media coordinators, Brandon DeKegerland and Keely Curran, our graphic crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Liam Nolan. Our producer, Donna Wilkins. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you tomorrow for a state semifinal game for Group 1 baseball. Have a good